Let's do this. What's up, everybody? Hold on here. Ba, 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 da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. Ba, da, da, da. Let's do this. Bum, 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 bum. What's going on, my peoples? What up, what up, what up? All right, let me just get a second here. I'm just situating something. Now we go off and do the Lord's work. Oh yeah, there we go. Hey, gotta run with the bulls, baby. All right, let's get to work, everybody. Good? Everybody saucy? Full of caffeine. Oh, Nolan. Hey, Arvin. What's up, baby? All right, cool. Let's go and let's go do what we do, which is the do. All right. Hey, so yesterday was the day of days, right? It was a nonstop parade. Now, look, we have FOMC today, so it is going to be action packed once again. It's just going to be, it would have been nice if we didn't gap up so much. You know, it would have been nice if we didn't gap up so much. But if you can see here, right, we've broken out to all time highs on the QQQs, and we did it with some gusto too. And so we have, you know, pretty much an all systems is go kind of situation here as we are breaking out on all time frames and really in all markets. You can see the SPY is also breaking out. And, you know, the dreaded IWM finally broke out too. So this, I think, is, you know, this is a huge thing, right? We're going to have to be super respectful to the market right now because we are at breakouts on everything. And, you know, no matter what you think, price is price, and we've broken out. And so I think at this point, this morning, if we can get a dip off in the market, I think it's going to set up a lot of nice plays. There's a lot of good earnings plays, just a lot of just kind of heat in general that we can trade. And we had an all day long trender yesterday. So there wasn't even, you know, we had one small pullback. And then maybe another one over here. And we ended up trending, and it was nonstop. I mean, it could be, you could, dude, even like the most boring companies were just trending all day. It was the day of day to trades. Guys, if you have yourself a trend a day or something like that, try to lay the wood on a little bit extra on those type of days. You got to milk it a little bit, you know, when you have this kind of, action all over the place. You know, if you look, let's take the, you know, pre-market data off, and just if you're thinking about just yesterday in general, you know, you had 1,500 4% breakouts, only 200 down. You had quite a few moves. I mean, 1,500 is just quite a bit, but like, even if you see like how many stocks made moves, like let's say over 20%, it's 100, right? Like, right? If you're like looking at stocks that made moves over, let's say 10%, right? You know, you had 400, right? 400. Whoa. I mean, that's one of the most that you'll see in many years. So there we go, right? So you had 474 stocks making moves over 10%. I mean, how is that, you know, that's rare, right? And so I think, you know, we have to respect that action. So Sports Edge, you know, I don't know if Trump necessarily helps the market. The market was going up when Biden was around too, but the market likes, you know, when there's no uncertainty, right? The market doesn't like when there is uncertainty. And so, you know, now that the election is over, it's kind of just, you know, freed. It's just freed up, right? because the market's been going up for the last few years, anyways. When Biden's been around, and it was going up when Trump's around, and so on and so forth. So um, it had an awesome day, and I don't want to put too much into like who's president, who's not. The market's been going up for years, right? And before that, it was been going up for years too. So in the general direction, right, markets tend to go up in absence of uncertainty and like nasty, right, recessions and stuff like that that you'll get once every 10 years. And yesterday was just a huge day. We were led by cryptos, so that's a risk on trade. And that's the interesting part of yesterday, right? Is, the inflation trades, the risk on trades were definitely in the works. You had really, dude, I mean, what can you say about all this stuff, right? So you had a huge run. Now, what we want to do is just see how we can get a little bit extra, right? How can we get this thing going, right? How can we get this thing going again, right? And so let's start digging in to what kind of earnings plays we have here. Let's start digging into what type of news plays are out there. And man, let's go have some fun. There's a lot of good earnings plays out there for today too, and so I think, hey, the markets look great. Let's focus in on the good stuff here. And so if you look here, let's just take a look, see what kind of news and stuff we got here. So we have ourselves a couple different things, right? We had jobless claims in the morning, and then we had some productivity and cost. The reaction has been okay on these. Dun, 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 dun. And then, right, we got FOMC announcement, Fed chair press conference. So this is how the FOMC usually works, guys. They will announce at 2 o'clock. All right. At 2 o'clock, there'll be a spike up and then a spike down and a spike up, and there'll be kind of a fade of a fade of a fade. So there's usually a couple fugazis. And then come 2:30, when he gets on, that's when the real move starts. And so you'll have a couple fake outs, and there's always a couple fake outs. And then, at some point there'll be the move, all right? The expectation is that they're going to be cutting, a 0.25%. He may do more, he may do less, you really don't know, but that's the expectation. All right. Now let's take a look and see if we got any good news out here. So first of all, upgrades. I don't see anything here that's worth a damn for moi. You got top downgrades, ESCI, Airy, Duolingo, Hubs. This is all. Palantir got a little bit of a downgrade. These solar stocks are getting downgraded. So nothing really that crazy. And then if you look here, right, top earnings for the week, these are the ones that we really want to kind of pay attention to. Airbnb, I believe this is after hours. Affirm, which I believe is also after hours today. You got AIG ARM, which is out. You got CVS, DD, Lyft, which is out also. Palantir, which we already went through. And then Qualcomm is out too. And SMCI went out yesterday. So you got some nice little doohickeys over here. And I believe TTD is after hours too. This one usually responds pretty well on earnings. And then Upwork, Win, so on and so forth. And these are the ones before the market. This is what I like to do. I just copy and paste this, and then I put it literally in a watch list on TC2000. So like say you copy that, right? And then, you can copy the after hours into a separate list. And what I like to do then is like I'll go on TC2000. So hit watch list, create new personal list, and then you can be like, right, pre-market 11-7, right? So you have a kind of and then you just copy and paste the tickers in. And now you got all the different, earnings plays, and then you can start the filter, like what's moving around. And these will give you, because sometimes if you run like a Gapper scan or something, a lot of the stocks don't have any liquidity in the morning. They may have zero volume, and so they might not show up necessarily on your Gapper scan, but then they take off, and then by the end of the day, you're like, oh shit, that was a little something. And so that's like, I think that's just the easiest way to kind of go about it. And then you want to look on the downside too, right? Like see what type of stocks are getting smoked out. And I'll flip through these. It takes 180 names, probably take 5-10 minutes usually. And then you got yourself your list, right? And there'll always be some stocks too that you just know of too. So you can always take a look here. Some stocks will always have, like, see this Vistas. Stock typically moves pretty well. So, you'll have something like this that starts to pop up. That's a buenos, right? So then you can start kind of going through these bad boys and make your list. Or you can just run a traditional gap scan, but you may just not get all the names that you want. So let's take a look and see what the heck is happening on this AppLovin. Let me just tell you something, man. This thing was just $8, $9 a year ago and some change, a year and a half ago. And it just had its flat top breakout at 92. I mean, what a run on this bad boy. Hey, Sugar. What a run on this bad boy. Oh, Bachu. So this is, it's up a lot. So there's not maybe much we can do unless we pull back. Oh, let me see. You guys want to see the Bachus? Hold on. He's a Bachu. Bachus. Hey, hey. America's baby. Hello. I am the cutest baby in the whole world. I love you, buddy. Yes. This is Daddy's work. Here you go, Sugar. Hey. He's the cutest. All right, so you got AppLovin here breaking out two highs. This has got a good look to it. It's up a lot, right? I think. What, buddy? Yes, you got 215, man. It's already made the move pre-market. I'd add this to the list, but I'm not that really interested in it being up 40 damn points. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a $50 billion company. 40 damn points. It's 60 points, I should say, 40%. It probably would need a decent sized pull. Not that interested in that one per se. Sin. This is a small cap stock. This is a reverse split 1 to 100. So really, this is like a 5-penny stock or whatever. And not my particular flavor. This DXC, we were talking about this yesterday. I think this stock, it could get moving. You see here, you have a huge base, but it was at $100. So what DXC is, it's a private ETF that invests in private companies. And so they own some SpaceX stock, and I believe some other ones too. So yesterday, obviously all the Elon Musk plays were going up. And so you had this huge move. And dude, the range was actually really good on it. Like if you see here, it gapped up here and then you just ripped back. Right? You gapped up here, you ripped back into, the bone zone. And guys, on a gap up day, let me just say, like yesterday, the market gapped up so big. This is the best type of play to do. Like when the market gaps up, just wait for it to pull back into your EMAs. That'll limit the risk a little bit. And then, you can take this thing as it starts to hold, and then you'll get, kind of catch these spots. It's very often like on these kind of big gap up days that people will just start chasing things, but they'll all start to pull back into these EMAs, right? So for example, Tesla, right? It gapped up so huge, but then if you start to see what happens, right, is they always will pull back at some point into these EMAs. And then when they hold, now you've got yourself like a nice entry on this. And we did this on so many plays yesterday because it's the only thing it's really the only thing you can do, right? Is like get that pull and then you're off to the races. So, like, what you don't want to do is just chase them, right? What you want to do, and this is just your playbook for any time there's a big gap up day. Guys, these big gap up days, they're tricky to trade, but they will be your most profitable days because they have this catalyst. And so you gap up and then you pull back into the EMAs and then you go. That's the way you want to do it. And, like if you're even looking at the general market, right? You spiked up at the open, the market was up huge in the morning. And then at some point, you'll pull back and you'll hold into these zones and then you come in. And that's how you want to do them. And then if the news in the market is actually something, you typically will get like an all-day trender on these things. And that's what at least has been happening recently because they just turned the algos on, or there'll be a huge buy program and you'll go all day, right? And so like even the IWM was up so much, it was up 5%. And then, right, you just pulled back and then you pulled back and then you just grinded up the whole day. Even though it was already up 5%, it still kept going. And so that's always going to be your playbook. That's always going to be your playbook when you're doing these. So just something to kind of keep in the back of your heads. These gap up days, they feel like it's a waste, but they can be really, really fun. So wait for those pulls. So let's add this DXYZ. Under Armour. Look, this one's actually got a huge base on it. This is the best setup that's been happening in the market of recent. Yes, buddy. Yeah, buddy. So you got $10 break. This setup has been, in the last few months, this has been the number one setup, right? You'll have almost like this kind of W, right? W bottom, right? It'll look like, a W, and then you'll take out these ranges and you start to get these big pushes. So I think this is probably something, in the cards. It may not be for today, as it's up a lot, but I think in the coming days too, like it'll probably flag and pull back into these EMAs and you'll have yourself a little something. So keep that into the back of your heads too. I think it looks okay. You can add it. It just needs probably a little bit of work. Dutch Bros. This I'm into because this has got a much lower float, 174 million shares, $6 billion company. Dude, look at this. You got a level here that you can trade around. This is probably top of the list. Why? So this is a former IPO stock. It was $80. So it retraced 75%, right? It's a low float stock. I consider anything under 250 million low float these days. You've got a level to trade around. And then it's a recent IPO. And then we also have a past history of knowing like this stock has the ability, right, to make, decent sized moves. And so we got a level right here that we can trade around that I think is going to be pretty big. Dude, that's nice. Let's add that. I mean, that's probably top of the list right there. Look at this EBS. If you like a little bit of a cheaper name, look at this. Coming a little bit out. It's a drug manufacturer. It does actually decent enough liquidity for the most part. I'm staying away from these little cheap ones, but I got the look on this. Hey, this lift, don't be surprised to see this thing do 50, 60, 100 million shares of volume today if it can hold its gap. It needs to pull back a little bit. You can't really, it's a little bit of a thicker stock, but what they've been doing, and this has been the kind of play, we've been doing it on all the earnings plays like Palantir and all of these kind of things. The first couple candles when the market opens, if it dips off here, like maybe it'll get into some level of support, 17, 1650, it'll dip off real fast. And then it'll come back and kind of remount its MAs. And then they usually turn the algos on and it'll just rip over the pre-market highs. That was the setup that we did on Palantir a couple days ago. They won't show the pre-market data on this right now, but that was kind of the setup. Like it kind of was drifting a little bit lower at the end of pre-market. Then it dropped like $1 at the open. And then boom, like you hit it. And I think we had 47.40. And then it was off to the races. So just something very similar to that, I think would work. You don't have to get too crazy with this. And I think it's going to move okay. It's a little bit of a thicker name, even though it's not a huge float. It just moves thick for some reason. But love the overall look of this. Let's add that. Let's add that to the watch list. Yeah, it could, it might drop real quick into like 17 or something like that too. And you'll have yourself a little pizza party. Oh, I think these are juicy enough. So let's add this. I like it. Under Armour we talked about. GH. You know what? This is a pretty low float stock, 76 million. Hey, Sugar, are we getting more coffee left? I'm just curious. Thanks. Bachu. GH. Thanks, love. Yeah. I think so. Got to keep the juices going, Ba-da-ba-ba. What do you think of this bad boy, man? This stock is a little bit of a bitch to trade. Yeah, it typically has been, but yeah, it trades a little thin. It's kind of in no man's land. I'd take a pass on this one. Freshworks. Hey, this is a software company. Pretty new company too. 50, it used to be $55. Did 5 million shares yesterday. I'm not opposed to this. You broke over the 200-day moving average. You also are taking out all these ranges. What do you think? I think so. I think we add it for now. Let's come back to that one. Hey, Zillow, Lost Narrows, revenue increases. So, Zillow to me is like a classic IWM kind of play. As the Fed cuts rates, if the real estate market, shapes up a little bit, you've got this huge range break that's been setting up here for quite some time. And then, this thing had a run to about 68 here. You got a level that you can trade around. This has probably got a little something that you can do. Yeah. I think so. I'm into it. Let's add that too. Now, we're going to narrow this list down. Don't worry about that. I know I'm just flipping through names first, but you got to flip through them before you can, unflip through them. Yin. Hey, China's rebounding. China stocks actually look like swing trades though. So they have this, like after this big push, they've spent weeks now just going sideways and building out some ranges here. So this is Yin, the 3X ETF for China. And dude, I think you got something here that you could do. It's a decent Buenos. Yeah. I think those are for you guys that are swing traders, though. It's a play for swing trading. It's like, for example, if Baba, breaks out of this range here, and you need the trend indicator to kind of flip, right? So like you want it opening up like this versus all red. But if it opens back up, then you're into something. See, Billy just opened back up here. And so now you got yourself a little bit better location. Bum, 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 bum. Yes. Man, that's nice. I'd add some of those. If you're a swing trader, I would take a look at some of these. They're all basing out. See how they're all just sitting here in like this big sideways movement? I keep an eye on them. They're not bad. Bum, 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 bum. China. Look at this Warner Brothers. Chung, 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 chung. Yeah, you can see this KC is a Chinese stock. Big heat. CWAB, this is the Chinese Internet ETF. Futu also. Man, these things are looking great. You may, you may want to take a look. They're very hard to day trade, but I'm totally into them. I'm totally into them on a little bit of a more of a swing trade basis. You can see Mobley keeps gapping out of range, but not giving us any day trades. See, and sometimes you got to swing trade these. Like, for example, this Mobley, I keep putting on my list, and there's been 0 day trades that you can kind of do in them. But before you know it, it's moved like 20, 30%. Tigers looking like a big rounding pattern, too. Hey, so let's take a look at this. Qualcomm, this will be in play today. Qualcomm is finally breaking out of this dreaded range, right? Finally breaking out of this range that it's been in for the longest time. Man, that's a buenos and noches. Dude, it's fading off a little bit here. 187 to 181. Let's see here. What's going on? Price to target to 160. Maintain neutral. 220 from 195. Bernstein. Qualcomm tops. There we go. Qualcomm tops fiscal fourth quarter grew more than expected. That's nice. Report 5th consecutive record revenue. That's good. Adjusted increase. That's a buenos. Shares up 7%, which represents. I mean, that's nice. And you're breaking out this huge range here. That's what you want to see, right? Like you want to see these things really cooking and booking. Now it's up 10 points. So it's a decent amount, but not something that's really obscene. I think this is a primetime candidate for us today. Now, my one worry in the semiconductor market is the ARM has its earnings out, and it's not really reacting that well, but it's not getting smoked at least. So it may not matter, but let's take a look at ARM here as an offshoot. Man, I should have held DJT. The puts were expensive. I think I paid $4 for the 30s when we were shorting yesterday, and the thing was at 41. Yeah, and look, ARM is pulling back into the 200-day moving average where it almost always it's been bouncing every time. So I would actually, if ARM got dusted off at the open, keep an eye on the 200-day moving average. It may actually bounce off of that. Looked like it was getting kind of close. Yeah, keep it on the watch list. And then this Qualcomm. Heck yeah. Yeah, Tesla may get a quick dump at some point today. It may. Let's see what Qualcomm is. Let me see where the bounce spot is in this Qualcomm. Yeah, it may be already right there. Let's see how this thing opens up. All right, let's keep going. So add this Qualcomm to the watch list. Dun 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 dun. Hey, this is a beauty, by the way. If anybody's a swing trader here, I mean, this is. That's hot. If it breaks this trend line like 18, let's just call it 1850. I mean, you could see this thing back 20, 21, 22, 23, like very, very quickly. Man, that's nice. I'm putting that on watch for myself and my swing account. That's a buenos. Yes, Miss Munoz. Let's dig into that and give me a hot second. Mrs. Munoz, come on. Come on. I knew this Hispanic guy back in the day. We used to call him Spanish Pete. He was pretty cool. Maybe you know him. Maybe you know him. Yeah, he had a little bit of a lisp, though. So, we just call him SP because he didn't really like being called Spanish Pete. But he was a pretty cool dude. Oh, yeah. He liked those Topo Chicos before they were popular. He was pretty cool, damn dude. Pretty cool dude. Topo Chicos. It's an underrated water. What can we say? Ace. Check this out. These solars got hit yesterday, right? These solars got hit yesterday. We had some good trades on with all of them. We hit run at the open, then we hit ENPH. Mr. Wanted, yeah. I mean, if you want them, I could even get them to you now. It doesn't matter. Look at this. So we were hitting all these bad boys. I would roll in on these for a day 2 play. So look, this is up 2.5%. Nova is up 4.4%. ENPH flat open. If it breaks yesterday's lows, these things are probably not done. They're probably not done. I'd add these. I'd add these. If you need some shorts, that's the spot to be in. Now, let me just kind of go back into this for a second here. So, and this, by the way, this VSTS looks cool. Very often, after a big trend day, the second day after a big trend day is very choppy. I repeat, oftentimes after a big trend day, the open is very choppy. Meaning you may get a quick spike, but then it gets rugged. And then everybody's like, oh, shit, we were up a lot. So then they short it. And then it ramps back. And you get a lot of cross currents going. And so you got to be really careful. I've seen this. And we always talk about, like, I have some in my mentorship group. Some of the guys will be like, they'll have a good day. And there'll be a big trend day. And they'll make a couple bucks or whatever. And then they're like really raring to go the next day because they're like, fuck, I should have made more money, right? And, oh man, I should have been more aggressive. I should have made more money. So then the day 2 after the trend day, right? Everybody's like so gung-ho at the open. And then what ends up happening is the first hour and a half is like super choppy. And so then you end up losing not just the previous day's gains, which are more minimal than they probably needed to be, but then you lose then you lose even more than that. And you're like, oh, shit, what did I get myself into? So just be mindful today. The open could be a little bit zigzaggy. Like the odds of like yesterday, where you just gapped up and you trended up the EMAs, the odds of that happening a second day in a row is very small. I wouldn't say zero, but you're talking about something that's pretty small. So you do want to kind of keep that into the back of your heads. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see quite a few little shakeouts. 989, Garrett Silva. What up? Dude. Yeah, let's see what's up. And you can see the IWM is opening week already. This, if it pulls back, I'd keep an eye on maybe, see this zone right here, 233. Anywhere from here, if you get this at the open, from 235 to, let's just say, 233, I'm into that. I'd come make this like a purple line or something. And then, dude, if you get anything between this and this here, I think the IWM is a buy. We could probably come in with some calls and, hit it. That's got a good look to it. Now let's just see if there's any debacles on the downside. Yes, we want to keep hitting. You can see here, Wolf, but these cheapies, when they're down 30%, are not very fun. DJT, I think the earnings are out. They're already out, huh? They must have come out. It was listed as 11.7. Anybody see if they came out? Hey, somebody look that up for me. T-Styles is a little bit weird on this one. All right, well, we'll add that. If it pops up, we're shorting it. Cool. So let's go back through this. I want to add in DXYZ. App, only if you get a big pull. I'm not taking this up 60 points. Dutch Bros. Damn, that's hot. UAA, good lift. Fresh Market, Z I'm into. Yeah, Z I'm into. That's a nice one. Let's add that bad boy. Vista I'm into. Guys, Vista, I think, dude, that could have some good range on it. Let's add that bad boy too. And then we got old Qualcomm too. If it opens up, if it opens up and holds here, I think we'll get in, we'll be in an okay spot. It did pull back a decent amount from the open. That is a small red flag. I wouldn't say it's the end of the world, but you would prefer a little bit, because it's not a huge mover in percentage basis usually. You'd prefer not to pull back that crazy. Yeah, why not? Now let's go kind of some day two plays. Hims, big trender yesterday. Keep an eye on this 24 level. You can see here, this is kind of a big breakout that'll send it to the 26. I like the overall look of that. You had a handful of these names here that have been holding up pretty well. Ms. Munoz, coin. I think you could try to do a red to green on coin. Possibly. It'd be nice if it pulled back a little bit. It'd be nice if it pulled back just a tad. Yeah, sometimes, they'll dump off real quick. It was up a lot yesterday, and it's been up 3 days in a row. So this is the thing, Jessica, is at $179. Now it's at 260. So the question becomes: are you the last one to the party or the first one to the party? We got to be just a little bit mindful of that, right? Da-da, da-da-da. Yeah, so it may dip down at the open and then just watch and see where it settles. If you got to 240, 235, that'd be probably pretty sick. If it goes red to green, maybe you could go again, but it's already pretty extended. So you got to be a little bit mindful of that. Let's add a couple of these. I want to add in CLSK. I think that this one has a chance to go to a little red to green life too. You've got yourself Bitcoin's broke out. You got a week open on this one. It's not bad. You got the Wolf Nation here. The Wolf Nation here at a flat open. Dude, that could take off. I got Lumens here on watch, right? You got a big breakout on this one. Week open. Dude. And then I want to keep a couple of these nuclears on the watch list too. On the big caps, I think Netflix looks the best. Watch and see how it reacts around this 782, and we'll get yourself some spots. Remember what I said. These opens are tricky. These opens are going to be tricky. So wait it out a little bit, unless it's an earnings plays, guys. Earnings plays are going to do what they do. So, like, if you have a stock that's got a catalyst, that's a whole different ball game than if it's got it's just following the general markets. All right.